Okay, so here's some great, this is great from Lisa. She says, what are some questions to ask to get over an ex? Well, what you'd want to do when you've been in a relationship that has broken down and you're still feeling like you're carrying baggage from that, to get rid of that baggage, there are some things that you can ask. And let me write down some of these questions for you so that you can see these. One of those questions might be, am I okay with blank? Or in other words, am I okay with my ex or Fred, or whatever the guy's name is or whatever the woman's name might be? If the answer to that comes back no, then that means that there is an underlying imbalance at that moment that has been selected by the subconscious mind. So, so in other words, if we were working on Lisa, okay, let me just bring up my map here. Okay, oops, wrong map. Let's bring up this one. Here we go. So if I were working on Lisa and she's trying to get over her ex, I might ask, are you actually okay with Fred? Fred, that was his name. If I got a no to that, that would mean that there's an imbalance that's already been selected and I can go right to it. So it's probably going to be in this area. When you're trying to get over an ex, 90% of the stuff that you're going to see is in this area. This is all relationship stuff up in here. And you'll see things probably like, some of the things that you might see. And this is why it's so great to have the body code. I mean, the emotion code will clear out 80% of that stuff and you'll probably be able to be just fine. But sometimes an ex might cord you, okay? So you might actually have an energetic cord or connection to that X, and you can get rid of that using the body code. And it explains, how to do that in here. But when people are corded, they might not even like each other anymore, and they might have been broken up sometimes for literally for years, and yet they're still connected to that person. And so they'll wonder why they still think about that person, or why they still feel the weight of that relationship and why they can't let it go. Well, guess what? You might have an energetic umbilical sort of a thing connecting you to that person, and then that person's energy may be flowing to you. And yeah, it's kind of a strange phenomenon, but that's one thing that can happen. Oftentimes, of course, you'll have a heart wall. If you've been through a relationship and you've had a breakup, for example, you might not have had a heart wall before, but you may suddenly have one now. So you want to check for that. And obviously, trapped emotions about that person. So some other things that you could ask, am I okay with my ex? You could ask, is there anything that is keeping me connected to, Fred or X or whoever, right? If you get an answer to that, and the answer is yes, then again, immediately there's something that's been chosen that you just need to figure out what it is. Okay. So those are some good questions to ask. And you just think out of the box and ask questions, try to come at it from a few different angles. And once there is no more baggage showing up, and I wouldn't just try to do this in one session either. I would ask these questions and try to clear as much as you can, and then come back again a week later and see what shows up. If nothing shows up, I would do it again in another week, maybe, or a few days or something like that, and see if anything shows. And you want to keep doing it until it's pretty much as gone as you can get it. Okay.